He's betting the Jets and letting it ride every game.
Is that the number 9 or the letter or the German word for no?
He did use a German accent, strikey.
It doesn't mean anything coming from Warthog.
Okay. All right, let's talk about your winnings in the Jets. Are you getting a cut of the Jets wins or no?
No, not at all.
That sucks.
Yeah, I'm just an innocent bystander in that one. It's not.
The good news, I actually am siding with Stryker that I don't think he's going to continue the winning streak for long.
I think I am. Well, we'll get to it. We'll get to that.
Well, and you've been right like 5 weeks in a row, so.
I don't know how much he won. 12 G's on the money line last week, so whatever it is, he's letting it ride. I wonder. I got to ask him if he's going to let it ride again because that money's getting up.
I mean, there's a point where you got to look at it and go, I'm just going to walk away because 12 G's is a lot of money to walk away with.
Yeah, but he's kind of a.
I mean, that's like the price of Warthog's new monitor.
Yeah, well, the guy's eccentric as fuck, and he's rich, so he doesn't care. He didn't get rich too hard. Well, he did give up some stuff for it. He got hurt in the oil fields back in the day. Lawsuits, money. And now he just gambles and loses lots of money. So I don't know how long he's going to have money forever, but whatever.
Yeah, at some point, though, you got to go, wow, that's a big deal. All right, do you want to talk anything about this past week?
Yeah, I do, actually. I'd like to talk about the Colts, Wardy.
Apparently, the AFC champion Colts are running through a rough patch where they are in doubt. They're being impatient. I mean, gosh, they're 3-3, 3-1 in the division that the lead is 4-3. I mean, it's not like they're buried in last place. I think they are not doing well in several key areas, but the whole offense is dysfunctional. It's not like Ryan's thrown picks, yes, but he's also been hammered at the quarterback position, and that's the line's fault. That was supposed to be a strength. Jonathan Taylor's not running the ball. Their wide receivers are not getting separation. The team's not playing well. So and I don't know how long. I mean, the same thing with Russell Wilson. It looks like this is the year that everybody went and got a quarterback, and then they're like, that wasn't a good idea. So quarterback. The older quarterbacks, like you've hit on, the older quarterbacks are looking bad. Now, whether they will, obviously, right now, Ryan's time is supposedly done, but whether they will turn the corner for like Wilson and those guys is still yet to be seen.
I just see the stupid money. Go ahead.
I was going to say the stupid part with me on the whole Ryan thing is the fact that they declared the other guy the quarterback for the rest of the year. Ryan's got a sore shoulder. Just tell him, just go out. He's going to sit a few games. Let the other kid play until Ryan gets healthy, and we'll see where things fall.
Well,
But that's not what.
I mean, what's the
Indianapolis
best
did.
thing that happens out of this? The best thing that happens is you've got Matt Ryan. I think the Falcons are paying most of his salary, and Matt Ryan is not with the team. And you know, this other guy does really well. You make the playoffs, and you've got a middling quarterback. Next year, like that's the best case.
Wait a minute. This other guy. This is just another Texas quarterback.
Well,
Just saying. Another guy from Texas taking over at quarterback position.
my bad.
Look, man, the worst thing is the Colts brought in Matt Ryan like he was the second coming, right? I mean, they did a whole thing about him, Matt Ryan this, Matt Ryan that. And you're right, all the money they're paying for him, and now it's like, all right, well, Matt Ryan is out to pasture and he's still getting paid. I don't know. I think there was a lot of high expectations, and you're right. I think they're being very impatient for someone you put such high expectations on. If you're saying Sam Ellinger is the starter for the rest of the year, then there's something you're not telling us. Shoulder injury or not, I mean, then put him on IR, right? Do something. But if not, you leave everybody wondering what the hell is going on. Because you're right. I mean, you put so much into Matt Ryan, and now all of a sudden it's like, oh, well, you know what? He's done for the year.
Yeah.
Why?
Hey, Veterans
There's
Plays
gotta be
Games.
more.
Thanks for the 200 biddies. Thank you.
There's got to be more reason to that. Way more.
Yeah, there's something rotting. I mean, like you, and even there's been articles about the Falcons and whether they were going to, whether they're like we knew Matt Ryan was done, and they're coming out and saying absolutely not. Like we wouldn't have done the things we did. It basically, when they went after Watson, the understanding was a relationship soured, and they just wanted, out of respect for him, to move him along to a good team that he could win. So, old quarterbacks have not fared well this year.
No.
Anything else for the last?
Of course, C-Mac. We kind of touched on C-Mac last week, right? We talked about
we said he would go great with the Bills, right?
The Bills, yeah, and they almost got him. They missed out on him. I guess they didn't offer something good enough for him, but I think at the Bills he would have been really dangerous. The Bills, the Chiefs, I think at the 49ers, yet to be seen. You still have a shitty quarterback at the 49ers. Sure, you got another great running back, but again, shitty quarterback situation.
Yeah, another great, often hurt running back that you can't count on. Like it's probably one thing to have a Barkley where you go, well, he can be an absolute beast, and yes, he's gotten some injuries, but it doesn't feel the same way with C-Mac, right? It feels like he's always like a paper cut away from getting out for 3 weeks.
Which sucks because he's such a great guy, a quarterback. I mean, running back. He's such a great athlete, and it's like, again, cursed, I guess, if you want to say, with those injuries. It is what it is, baby. That's football for you.
Yeah. Last week we both tied. We went 8-6. We had 4 teams that we both thought were gonna. I mean, in my head, I think we thought were locks. The Pack, the Bucs, the Chargers, and the Patriots all got upset. I of course took the anti-Jet pick and the Homer pick, whereas you did not know the power of the Lilliputian leader in Arizona. So that's how it ended up for the year. It looks like you're 61-46-1, whereas I'm 54-47-1. So
getting closer,
but not there. So
Panthers beating the Bucs, though. Holy smokes! I did not see that one coming whatsoever.
No,
but it goes back to what we're talking about. Wilson, Brady, Ryan. Who's the other one we said was done?
Rodgers.
Yeah, I mean, holy smokes, bro. I mean, eventually they're gonna get old. Eventually they're gonna lose a step, right? Like,
yeah, but all of them at the same time. Like, did their contracts with the devil all in at the same time?
The AARP sent them their membership cards, and let's go.
Aaron Rodgers still is the funny. So the funny thing is, my son's a Packers fan, so poor him. But he was talking about the I guess Rodgers showed up on the Pat McAfee show, and he was talking about the game, and he's like, typically on our one-on-ones, they get rated, and it's like a 10% rate, whatever. That's the missed assignment rating. And I guess the last game it was at 30, like multiple players. And then they were like, what about you? And he's like, well, statistically, I had the best game of the season. Might not be Rodgers. It might just be the Packers are that bad right now. So, it all, once the team looks bad, it's hard for any parts to look good. So I don't know that Rodgers is done. But I do think the Packers have eroded pretty badly from even a year ago. And there were some holes a year ago.
You got to ask yourself why, though, right? Is it management? I mean, come on. I don't know if you could really blame management. The Packers have been pretty stellar, pretty good for a long time. Is it Rodgers? Maybe nobody wants to be in that locker room anymore. Who knows, man?
Or is it just you've been picking 30, 29th, 30th for so long, and you just haven't landed, the guys you needed to land?
That could be it too. Speaking of, I'm gonna make you feel better. So your Jaguars lost last week. And speaking of Matt Ryan, I had to make a choice in fantasy football
between Trevor Lawrence and who?
No, Allen was on bye.
Okay.
On my big money league, and I had to choose between Matt Ryan and Dan Jones. I had Jones eventually, and then I decided on Ryan last minute.
Good choice on that one.
Yeah, I know. Jones went off for like 48 points in that league, and Ryan, well,
did not.
No. And I blame all the analytics that I looked at out there to see which quarterback was going to do better.
Oh, I do. So let's take a moment to talk about analytics.
Oh, boy.
Because, the Giants go down the field, they score 7-0. Jags come down, score 6-0. Kick the field goal, flag on the play. Take the points off the board. Don't love that call. 2-point conversion works. Love the call. Really still don't love the call. Up 8-7. Fast forward to the game. The Jags are up by 4. 25, 30-yard line. 4th and, 2.5, 3, something like that. Analytics says go for it. You got a chance against the team to go up 7. Late, you're talking late in the 3rd, early in the 4th. That's what you do. I don't relish passing up the 3 points to make it a 7-point game where the worst case scenario, they're going to go down the field and tie the game versus you're down by 3, which is exactly what happened. The Jags went for a run 4th. The officiating was horrible on that particular drive. It looked like they got the first down twice in that series on both 2nd and 3rd down, but on 4th down, he was nowhere near getting the first down. So turned the ball over. The Giants went down, kicked a field goal. Giants kicked another field goal. Ended up, basically the Jags were on the 1-yard line at the end of the game, and lost by the score. So, I think teams are getting too cute. At the end of the day, it's a football game, and there's multiples of 7 that you want to stay ahead of, right? 7 is a single score. You get to 10 and it's now a 2-score game, so on and so forth. And coaches are just doing that analytics. And sure, the analytics say 52% of the time it's good to do this, but they don't count the flip side of that as you're getting up a score on this team. They now have to actually drive the length of the field and get a touchdown. That's a big deal, both for your defense, for everything in the team. So I really dislike the analytics right now.
Well, you got to stop leaving football to nerds. Just play football, baby.
Yeah, and speaking of which, that hands off to the whole NFC East. Speaking of that playing football thing, that's what the Giants, I watched the Giants. There's nothing impressive so far about the NFC East and the quarterbacking department. In a league that's supposedly a quarterback-driven league, the 3 teams, and I haven't seen the Cowboys up close and personal yet, but the Eagles do not have a good passing quarterback. The Giants do not have a good passing quarterback. I don't think Cooper Rush is a good passing quarterback, and you've lectured me for days on Dak Prescott not being a good passing quarterback. But what you do is matriculate the ball down the field. You run the ball. You play solid defense. And Barkley, in the 4th quarter of that game, we held him, I think the first half stats, he had negative yards. In the second half, though, when that big boy was running downhill, it was all she wrote for the defense. He was gashing them, right? And they were a pretty stout run defense, and they were holding up. but he was just running them over. And the Giants, that last drive, the Giants were just like, I'm giving the ball. There was nothing cute. There was no trick passes like we did. We're doing the end around reversal. No, they ran Barkley down our throats. And there's a stat like I think the record for one score games were 0-5, and the Giants are 5-0. So hats off to those guys. I know you don't like the Giants.
No, and Dak Prescott looked pretty pedestrian. I mean, he only went 19 for 25, 207 yards and a touchdown, but he looked pedestrian. He didn't look very good at all. And he's still, I don't know. We're not going to get into that right now because that could be an hour-long conversation. I do have a question for you.
Yeah.
Robinson gone to the Jets? Does that mean Etienne is now the man? He was already the man if you look at it. But
and I think they wanted to see that in person. Like I think they wanted to make sure, because let's face it, Robinson's undrafted back. What he did is he ran well between the tackles, but he was 3 yards in a cloud of dust, right? And they got what they got out of that guy. He was the only one. He was better than Fournette. They let Fournette go. I don't know that's exactly true. I think Fournette was a little better, but there were similar backs, big backs that didn't have a lot of top end speed. This guy's a home run hitter, right? Question to me, and he's done well in pass protection. The question to me is, can he be a 25 touch guy? Is he that kind of person? And who's the backup going to be?
Do you need him to be a 25 touch guy if your offense is based around Sunshine?
No, but again, I'm a fan of the lean on the running back in the fourth quarter. Like, I don't like the way the Bills and the Chiefs and those teams play. I like things like the Giants where they can do a 6-minute drive and just eat you alive. So
you need a big back for that, for sure.
Yeah, you do.
Well, that's the point of system football, right? You want to wear down that defense in the fourth quarter. You bring out your big bruiser and just bruise 3 yards and a cloud of dust down the field. I mean, that's what it's all about, right?
Well, it's based on your identity, right? And that's what's weird, I think, about the Jags, that they haven't found that yet. Because I think they've got a team that was more built about running the ball and stopping the run, and they're trying to put people in to be this, pass happy West Coast offense, and he didn't fit that.
Well, you drafted a quarterback for that.
Correct, but the rest of the pieces don't fit. So it takes time to get all that together.
But I think they do. I disagree slightly. I think that Etienne fits that mold that y'all are trying to run with Sunshine and all that. He's that kind of running back, right? He's that Kareem Hunt for the Chiefs back in the day, right? I think that's because Kareem Hunt is a pass catching running back. I think that's what Etienne is.
Well, so I don't. The difference is I don't see him running the tackles well. That's the every down back for me. If you can run between the tackles, and every time I see that guy go through the tackles, he loses yards.
Well,
but
I guess it's yet to be seen. But
the sad
he's
part
really
is
done well for you guys.
Up there, he's up there for the biggest back on the Jaguars right now.
But
The three active guys on the roster are Jermichael Hasty is 5'8", 205, Snoop Connor is 5'10", 215, and Etienne is 5'10", 210.
Well, I think
those are small
that's his
boys.
point, though, that they gave away their big boy.
Yeah, but who do you bring back in? That's where I was going with it. Who is that?
I don't think they want to bring anybody in. I think they're content with that style of play, and that's to me, again, they're in the NFL. Some of the best teams in the league were like the Cowboys. You knew what was coming. Irvin on and out. Stop it. You can't. They smashed it in the mouth with Smith. They threw the out to Irvin. Like, they had plays that they would, I'm sure Aikman could have been like, I'm going to throw this to him and right here, so that's some of the best teams is you just can't stop it. I don't see anything about what I see in our running back situation are people that can hit home runs. But that also, when people are keen on that, it goes away. And I just don't. I'm not a fan of that.
Guess it's yet to be seen, but his average per carry is pretty freaking nice.
Correct, but that you get a 50-yard burst here and a 50-yard burst there, and it makes everything look pretty, right?
True that. All right, then.
Well, and that was the second. I think in the second half of the Giants game, that became very apparent. We had a lot of rushing in the first half, and in the second half, it goes away. So I don't know. We'll see. They're paid a lot of money for a reason. Chaos, how you doing, bud? All right. So that's enough for the wrap up part. I think our first game of the week are I think a really good game of the Buccaneers at Tampa Bay.
Man, honestly, you can't count on Brady anymore. Not in my opinion, anyways, and that's my opinion. But I think he's old, bro. I think his age is just showing. I think there's age. There's thoughts of his girlfriend or ex-wife, whatever you want to call it, out there with Antonio Brown.
Ripper's girlfriend.
But yeah, exactly. I got a chance. The Bucs don't look bad still, man. But listen, man, defense wins championships, but the defense ain't gonna start Jackson over there, bro. They're just not. And the Buccaneers' offense is sputtering right now. Honestly, my opinion, Brady by the end of the season is playing golf with Matt Ryan. He's playing golf with Matt Ryan somewhere. That's my opinion. He just looks terrible. I don't think that the Bucs can stop the Ravens' explosive offense. I think that Lamar Jackson is going to be tearing it up again, and they win. Definitely.
At least they've got
Baltimore
a short contract on Brady.
Well, yeah, but
at least they got a short contract. I mean, that's the one benefit Tampa Bay has is they're not stuck long term like India is with Ryan.
Yeah, but it's like the Bears back. I mean, the Bulls back in the day with Jordan, 1 year contracts, 1 year contracts. They're waiting for his age to pop out, right? I think that's more of the 1 year deal with the Buccaneers. They're waiting for Brady's age to pop out. So the Ravens on this one, hard hands down. Not just because of Lamar, but Gus Edwards tearing it up right this past weekend. I know he's hurt, but it doesn't seem like he's not going to play. They have a run game now. They've got Lamar. The receiving, you still got a great tight end. I just think that the Ravens over the Bucs. I think the Bucs are sputtering, and there's no way their offense is going to be able to keep up with the Ravens. So the Bucs for me. I mean the Ravens. Sorry.
Yeah, on the injury front, it looks like they've got Campbell out for the Ravens. That's the only real out. There's a lot of questionable guys. For the Bucs, looks like they're going to lose their cornerback, Bunting, Bray, their tight ends out, their guards out, and Winfield's out with a concussion. So this is when do they turn it on? If you're a Brady fan, you go, he always regular season hasn't mattered to him for the last few years. This is a big game. This is the kind of game he doesn't like to lose. But I just don't. I think they lost Marpet in the offseason. He retired. Their line doesn't look as good. Their running game doesn't look as good. Their nothing looks as good as it did a year or two. It's like the whole team. Like Brady's sucking the youth out of the whole team. I agree. I think the Ravens are going to win. I think as long as Jackson is upright and running, the Ravens are a threat, right? He can just score, and he's such a dynamic player. I don't see anyone on the Bucs that can really stop him. So I think the Ravens as well.
Nice. Wait, what? No. Now we're together. We're definitely going to be wrong now.
Yeah, well, it's not. But it's not like that's if the Bucs win, it's not going to be a shocking upset. There were some last week that I'm like, I did not see that coming.
Well, the Ravens give up points, right? But can Brady bring it back? That's the big question. Mike Evans didn't look great, but that was because Brady didn't look great.
Yeah. I don't know. So the London game, Denver and the Russell Wilsons. So if you got Russell Wilson, you may have a sign of life here against the Jags.
Look, I've been going against your Jags almost all season.
I'm not a big fan of that either.
Well, sunshine is sunshine. I still don't believe. However, this is the kid down the street throwing the ball around in the front lawn against the old man that says, "Get off my grass" across the street. Listen, Russell Wilson is donezo. Isn't he donezo? I heard something. He might go on the IR. Is that true?
He's got a partially torn hamstring. I'm surprised they flew him to London unless there's some chance they think he can play.
Well, that's because Look, man.
The
did you catch
injury
what he
the
did on
injury
the flight
report
out?
is clean on both those teams. So
He's got some yardage. It's not like he's terrible, but man, if you watch the last game, I was stunned. 3 quarters because I'm considering overtime, and this guy couldn't. It was horrible, man. It was horrible. That's the worst I've ever seen him play, and it was bad. I don't think he can move the ball with Denver. I know Denver's defense is good, but honestly, I think Nene, now that he's the man, he's going to shine even harder. And I think your Sunshine's going to pull off a win, not because he's great, but because they're playing shitty ass Russell Wilson. So I'm going to keep it short and sweet. Broncos suck. The Jaguars suck too, but they suck a little less. So I'm going with the Jags finally.
it's also almost like a home, like we played the most games in London, so that I think that helps when you're used to that. You know what you need to do when you're going, because it's a long trip, right? So I think that helps out. We've done really well the last few years.
Quarterback's high kneeing up and down the aisles for the last 4 hours of the flight, or the middle 4 hours of the flight.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I mean, I'm going with the Jags. It's been
Surprise.
it's been fun, but I mean, to me, this is still exactly what it is. It's a young team that's learning how to win. They're really not winning close games. They're close. They're you know, if you look, the only team in the AFC South with a positive run differential is us. So, you know, we're just losing. We're finding ways to lose, and it is across the board. You said it. You pinged it last week. It's not just the offense; it's the defense. And you know, the last one, the past week, dropping, you know, getting the ball to the one and watching him struggle, knowing the clock has expired, and you know you're, I don't know, 6 inches away from the goal line, and it doesn't matter. Just you know, another way to you know, lose a game that, you know, it felt like for a large portion of that game we had it under control. So it's a talented team. It's nice to see a talented team, but it's not learned how to win close games yet. And the thing that really worries me the most about having the franchise quarterback is that's what you have him for, right? And you know, hopefully the light bulb comes on again. The last game, that last drive looked like a franchise quarterback. He went 70 yards down the field. He just didn't get it done. So I'm going on the Jags. I hope they are the better bad team. Although I can definitely see where the Russell Wilsons win this one.
All I took from all that is London's been watching shitty football for a long time now, since the Jaguars have played there the most.
Aww, thank you, buddy.
You're welcome. Is Wilson even playing this game?
Again, he's not on the injury report, so.
Brett Riplin or whatever it is. Rippin, I guess. Riplin? I don't know how you say his name.
Ripken.
Rippin, no, it's Rypien.
Yeah, he's like a uncle or whatever, nephew of Brett from the Redskins.
That's the guy that played, finished the game, I guess, last week, right?
Yeah, that's the second stringer.
All right, well, whatever his name is,
he's not bad.
If he starts, they lose. Still going with the Jags.
Thank you. We need Ripper jet luck.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got Carolina at Atlanta.
Yeah. Look, I'm surprised Carolina beat the Bucs, and then I was like, okay, well now I see why. You know, Timmy Brady couldn't play football last week for some reason. I think the trolling that Antonio Brown's been doing on his ass has been really playing in his head. I guess he's been posting up, I guess, Photoshop pictures of him and Giselle, but they're not even that. They're obvious, right? It's like Tom Brady's body, wide arms, everything in Antonio's face. So that's kind of funny.
That is, I had not heard that. That is actually really funny.
He's trolling him pretty bad. I don't know why, but considering he lived with Brady when he went to Tampa, it's kind of a D move, if you ask me. But they did beat him, and you know, it wasn't like Baker was. Who did Baker even quarterback that game? Let me go look.
Does Baker quarterback any game lately?
Kind of rude word to say that, because Baker is a professional football player and he tries really hard. Let me put up the stats on that game.
I believe it was number 2.
That's either way. Look, they don't have C-Mac. He's gone. They have Hubbard and what is it, Foreman, running the ball.
Yeah, might as well be me and you, but yes.
Correct. Well, I mean, Chuba Hubbard, when C-Mac got hurt, every time he got hurt, he was not too bad. Foreman didn't run too bad either for the highlights, but man, on the flip side of that, you've got Mariota. Okay. That rookie receiver, London. I mean, Atlanta looks bad, bro. They really do. And I know they're too bad as far as where they're at right now, but this is a tough one. Not in the sense that it's like, oh no, I can't pick it. It's just like you put 2 shitty boxers in the ring. You're like, yeah, well, I'm gonna watch this fight. Not like you don't even know how to pick a winner because they both suck. They're both swinging in the air and missing at each other.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I'd watch this game, to be honest. Who's in it? And what I mean by who's in it, look, a lot of us watch football now because we're, on some games, right? Like I'll watch an off game that isn't the Cowboys what I always watch because
Fantasy
I want to see
relevance.
the fantasy. Yeah, right. So what do you have here? Mariota, Algier, Alexander, whatever you say his damn name.
I would go with Pitts, and that's the end of the list. Yeah.
On the flip side, who do you have also? This is 2 games with like almost 0 fantasy relevance. That's a boring game if you ask me, man. I mean, people tune in to watch their teams, but they also tune in to watch their stars, right? We're all fans of people. I watch the Cowboys also to watch Pollard and Zeke and all that, but I'll watch, say, I don't know, a lot of shitty teams out there, but let's say Green Bay to watch Rodgers do his thing, right? There's teams and
Come
stars.
on, you could have used Geno Smith as a...
No.
Look here. I'd rather use Jacoby Brisket. But speaking of the Browns, you watch them to see Chubbs tear up, right? Like there's people and interest you want to see and stuff, but this game has none. It's like, hey, let's watch Baker. Sure.
You can't tell me you're actually tuning in the Browns for anything more than watching them just take an absolute duke on the field.
Oh, you watch, like I just said, Chubbs, man. You want to see. Look, you go and see those fantasy relevance players tear it up, and that's it. This game has none. This is not. I'm not saying it's a hard game to choose. It's just, it's really, really what we're gonna start using the coin flip here, right? This is a coin flip.
This is a coin flip.
A definite coin flip. It's hard to choose because who's gonna win this? 2-5, 3-4. You got shitty quarterback versus shitty quarterback, shitty running back, or I guess shitty running backs versus shitty running backs. Shitty receivers versus shitty receivers. Like, holy fuck, dude. Sorry, damn it. Who watches this game? Honestly,
Falcons fans and Panthers fans, right?
You might as well send these guys to London and play them at 8 a.m. when nobody's gonna watch, right? Yeah. Just to pick one. Let me see this coin flip app. We're gonna give tails to the Carolina Panthers and heads to the Falcons. Yep, I'm going to do a coin flip app. What do we see? Tails the Panthers and heads to the Falcons.
I wasn't paying attention.
Well,
one of them.
We're giving it to Carolina. Carolina wins. I would have picked them anyways. I think the running game's a little bit stronger than you have at Atlanta. I think the defense is probably a little bit better in Atlanta, but we're going with Carolina on this one just because they beat Brady. That was a long explanation for a really bad game.
It was. I'm actually going to go with the Falcons because my coin flipped the other way. I just think that the Panthers had the game of the season last week, and that's it. So there's too many. I mean, but you're very correct. These are 2 teams that are bottom of the barrel and they're fighting it out. The Falcons seem scrappier to me. They seem to play a little better defense. That's why I'm going with them.
Coin flip.
Yeah, totally a coin flip.
Apparently, they didn't play very good defense considering. But anyways, coin flip.
Well,
they
defense as far as scoring, I think, is the more. But yeah.
Burrow's scored all over their face. 481 yards. 481 yards, 3 touchdowns. He was 34 for 42. That's a pretty good day of work.
So you went Panthers, correct? Is that what your coin flip said?
Yep. The Panthers.
The Panthers. All right. Can someone tell me how the Bears won last week? I would like to know that. Someone, please
Well,
tell me.
the running back Justin Fields
Showed up.
Yes. The quarterback Justin Fields. But the running. No, honestly, they won with the defense. I would think. Zappy, that kid from Victoria, Texas, decided he was going to look really good for a drive, and then started throwing picks.
Yeah. All right, so they are actually playing the Boys.
Yes, they are. They are playing the Boys. Look, the one thing that Dallas has, we all know, is a great defense. The second thing they got going for them, and it's not Dak Prescott, don't get me started with that, but the second thing they got going for them, and this is big, and I think this is going to create a direction with Dallas, and it is. I think this is Zeke's last year, and I think a lot of us kind of figured that already, but he's hurt. He's out. Pollard's starting.
It's Pollard time.
Yeah, it is. Look, man, he's cheaper. He's younger. Zeke is what it is. He's very expensive, and he's just not as productive. Yeah, he had 2 touchdowns last week, blah, 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 blah. But honestly, Pollard put up all the yards, and Zeke put it in the end zone, right? As far as the defense, Justin Fields, the quarterback, was 179 last week. 13 of 21, 179, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. You can already tell the Bears are starting to limit his passes, right?
Mm-hmm.
He only had 21 attempts. And obviously you want to because the running back can't be a quarterback. But Justin Fields, the running back, was also the lead running back with 14 carries, 82 yards, and a touchdown. Look, man, the Bears are playing with a running game, and hey, sometimes I'll just throw the ball, and it's not going to work against the Cowboys. Their defense is going to be great, sure, but if we can limit what Dak Prescott does and just let Pollard tear it up, it should be an easy win for the Cowboys. I don't think the Bears put up 33 against the Cowboys like they did New England. New England, like I said, Mac Jones came in, they threw him out. Zappy came in, looked good, and then he started tossing up picks.
Person in row 5, seat 27, please come get your Patriots gear.
Correct. So, long story short, man, the Bears aren't going to be able to beat the Cowboys defense, and we all seen it. The Cowboys defense is legit. Diggs, another pick, making history over there. They just signed also a big defensive tackle from the Raiders, which should help. Speaking of that, man, the Philadelphia Eagles picked up Robert Quinn. That's going to be big for them too. That's crazy big. But anyways, this was going to the Cowboys. You already knew I was going to pick that, but honestly, even without me being a homer, just looking at this game, it's a run game you have to stop, which the Cowboys can. And if you throw against the Cowboys, especially this running back pretending to be a quarterback in Chicago, you throw against Diggs and you're going to pay for it. So
yeah,
the boys.
Is this? Can the Bears in the current configuration ever work? Are we getting to the point where that can actually work? Because I'm seeing quite again, and I said this in the NFC East. Jalen Hurts to me looks like a little better Fields. And maybe I'm not seeing him throw the ball way down the field. I'm seeing short little check down passes and scrambles when you get in the red zone. Like I'm not seeing him sit in the pocket.
Are you talking Fields or are you talking Hurts there?
Hurts. I mean, that's what I see with there. Fields hasn't gotten that part down, so he's more like run all the time. And then occasionally when I'm about to run, I see somebody open and I throw it for 5 yards and he does, 27 yards run after catch.
Did either of you guys watch the Sunday night game on the ESPN or Monday night game on the ESPN stream?
I did not.
So they had the Manning show, and it was Peyton and Eli, and they literally guessed everything wrong on what Fields was going to do. Because they're like, there's no way they'll do this, and then immediately Chicago would do that. Whatever it was.
Like they were saying he was going to run the ball or throw the ball, or like, what do you mean?
Well, like in one case, it was like they won't let him throw the ball. They'll just do a quarterback run, and then next thing you know, he's dropping back to pass and throwing it, 25 yards downfield and overthrowing the receiver by 5 yards.
Yeah, when Manning's telling you shouldn't do something, you should probably listen. But that's beside the point. I just wonder, can you win? Can you win with the Fields? Like the guy's averaging 150 yards a game. Like, can you win that way?
Well, you're playing
Not when you
teams
trade
that
Robert
can't.
Quinn.
Yeah, that too. But not. Yeah, exactly. I mean, your defense had it going for you. Trading around Robert Quinn. Look, the Bears, like you said, can you win with the Justin Fields? No, man, and I think they know that. I think that they're eventually going to have to find some kind of better quarterback. But the Bears have been having quarterback problems for freaking years.
Well, forever, right? They've really never had a quarterback.
But no, Justin is not your guy. And the 3 wins they do have has just been against teams that aren't as great at stopping the quarterback / running back pretending to be a quarterback guy.
But the NFL is no longer a find a quarterback and win games league outside of you get lucky and you get a Mahomes or you get a Josh Allen. I mean, look at how many backups are playing right now that you would have never thought would have even gotten a shot, let alone playing.
Well, I mean,
And
yes and no, though,
that's
right?
because you can't find quarterback.
Honestly, I think a lot of these guys are, and Wardy hit it before. They're trying to fit a mold, right? That Patrick Mahomes mold, that Lamar Jackson mold, and they're taking swingers and flyers on guys like Justin Fields and Jalen Hurts and Tua. They're trying to find that running back that can also throw the ball, and I think they're just failing.
Well, and it's a
Can we
very,
talk about
it's a
Ripper's use
very,
of swingers there real
very
quick?
limited. No, we cannot. It's a very limited skill set, right? If you took all the quarterbacks that you have, and then you said, okay, these are my athletic quarterbacks that can run a sub 4.5 40, and they're nimble and agile and are not 5'2", and you lumped them all together. That is a tiny group of people that have an NFL caliber arm, NFL caliber speed, NFL caliber legs, and can take a hit. Like, it's just an infinitesimally small thing. When you get one and you get a Patrick Mahomes that can throw the ball, is accurate, can run, can take a hit, he's not short so he can't, get every pass batted back in his face, you've hit a home run. Now, should you look for that? Absolutely. But are you marking people up and going, sure, Justin Fields can't hit the broadside of the barn, but we can teach him? You can't. You can't. And in the meantime, are you leaving that 6'4" Lithuanian guy that's got a cannon of an arm, but he runs like a 10-second 40? And that's really the question. And that's when you get a team that's a smart team that drafts well that goes, we're going to go against the grain. We're not going to get the mobile running quarterback. We're going to get the statue, but he's got a cannon of an arm. He's accurate as heck, and he fits the mold. Winning breeds copycats.
It does. But, you're ending up with knockoff Chinese versions of the quarterback you want. You end up getting Justin Fields.
Yeah.
Striker, what was it you said? Can we talk about Ripper's use of what?
You used the term swingers instead of taking a swing at. You said take a swingers at.
Well,
So I'm on board with you. The Cowboys should win this one handily.
Yeah. And that means they're going to lose. Thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome. The Miami Head Traumas versus the Detroit Lions.
As the game 2 comes back, right? Isn't that what they're saying?
Yeah, that's what they're saying.
Look, man. I honestly, in my opinion, man, I've been around football a long time, and I've seen concussions, and we've seen concussions on TV. We've seen it all, right? That was the worst concussion I have ever seen, man. And it was extremely, even watching it, you felt for the guy, right? It was
just the way his fingers were scared the shit out of me.
Yeah,
did you watch that? I mean, his hands were doing spasmy things.
Well, I think we've all watched it over and over, and the memes and everything else, right? But yeah, that's bad, and he's coming back, and that's great for him. I just wonder what kind of brain damage, and I am saying brain damage, he has. There had to have been some. You can't have that kind of a knock on your head and not have some kind of permanent damage. You would think. I hope not, Ryan. I pray for the guy, but man, that's ugly. I guess we'll see what happens there. But he is coming back. Mustard over there has been running a little bit better. I think he might have a good game. They still have Hill and Waddle. So with Tua back, is this team back in line like the way they used to be? Depends on Tua, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is Tua back and fully functional, brain cognizance or whatever you call it, great? Yet to be seen, right? I guess. I mean, I can't say you can trust the doctors because they messed that one up already once.
Yeah.
So I guess we'll see. Now, barring the fact that Tua is great, he's back to normal. Playing the Lions, who, man, Lions have some injuries right now. The Egyptian receiver is hurt.
Chark's out.
He's not concussed after all, so they say. He's cleared. He's going to play.
But they just got a brand new doctor from Miami that says that he's all good to go.
Yeah. So, and then what a game for it to be in, right? It shouldn't be hard to call this one if Tua were completely healthy and 100%. And I'm assuming he is, right? Like I would assume that the Miami wouldn't make the same mistake twice, but I don't know. I'm gonna go with the fact that Tua is probably at 100% cleared, all that good stuff. Now the other part is shell shock, right? And what I mean by that is, look, when a kid, and I coach youth football, you know that when a kid breaks, say, a finger, an arm, whatever, man, they come back later on in the season or next year. Right now, I'm dealing with a lineman that broke his finger. He was out for 5 weeks. He's back now, but you can see the hesitation, right, for him to want to use his hand, and we got to work him back into it and eventually get to it. My running back broke his arm last year, and he was back this year. And in the first couple of games, there was still hesitation, and he got through it. He worked through it. He's great. The shell shock part is Tua going to come back and be great, right? Is he going to come back and be cool, or is he be like, oh no, here comes 67 and just fall on the floor, right?
Or is that clock now, that 3-second clock, a 1.5 second clock?
Correct, because in practice he's red jersey, right? They're not touching him in practice. They're coming at him. They're not. He already knows they're not going to lay him out. But in games, I mean, will his mental stability, I don't know what you want to call it, I mean, his balls, whatever, will he be afraid? Will there be shell shock? Well, you're right. The 4-second clock, now 1.5. Who knows? I guess that's yet to be seen. And you either have to say, yes, he's good, or call it for the Lions. Now, on the other side of the Lions, you have, Jared Goff, who's still pretending to be a real quarterback. He's doing good. I'm going to say that. With his receivers out and all that, and the running game going, the guy can throw the ball, but there's a reason why they're 1-5, right? He's got 6 picks. So I'm going to go with the fact that Tua is back, and I'm going to hope he is, and I hope he has a good career, and I hope he doesn't shell shock. And I'm going to say that the Dolphins beat the Lions because, well, Jared Goff, period.
I mean, the Lions acquired the Jets' defense of last year. The Giant, they can't stop anybody. The Lions make every team look like an offensive juggernaut.
Jets had defense?
Huh?
The Jets had a defense last year?
No, they did not. The Dolphins' skill positions are insanely talented. I think that Waddle and Hill, even if he is shell shocked, and just throws a pass up, one of them is going to catch it and take it to the house. That's the kind of game I think this one's going to be. I think the Dolphins are just going to put a lot of points up on the board. I don't think that the Lions can keep up with their bad defense, and I think that the Dolphins' defense is good enough to, keep them to 15 points. I see like a 30-15 game here. You're right. The Tua thing worries me, and they've not been great with their backups either. Like, Skyler showed that he's probably should be a third-string quarterback, and Bridgewater, that guy has just been snake bit ever since the injury in Minnesota. So it's got to be Tua, and like you said, hopefully he comes out there and it's going to be accelerated. The point is can the coaches get him into the game and make him feel comfortable? Because if he does, then it goes away and you don't have to worry about it. But if you start thinking about it, that's when that's when it's going to bite you. So it's very interesting. I'm going with the Dolphins.
There ain't many better teams you can bring an injured quarterback back than the Lions right now. They've only got 9 sacks on the year.
That's your homecoming game, right?
They're not getting pressure on the quarterback. Like, if you want to give the quarterback a chance to actually get his feet underneath him, Detroit's a damn good team to do it against.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe he won't be scared because the Lions completely, they're like, look, we have blawed everyone off. So if I were the Lions, I'd probably just send 8 the first time. We're giving up a touchdown anyhow. Just send 8 and scramble them.
Well, that's the whole point. You call that a homecoming game, right? You schedule your weak ass opponent in a homecoming game, so you guarantee a win. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. We got the Lilliputian leaders at the Vikings.
I'm watching this
little
game.
people.
I'll tell you that right now.
Why are you watching this game? It's interesting.
Because he likes little people.
Oh, fan of the little people.
I mean, I do, but that's not what.
It's called a fetish.
Because I think the Vikings actually have a pretty good team this year, and Kyler Murray, as much as I don't like him because he's in the NFC West, I think the kid's got something. Whether or not he can pull it all the way is another story. But I mean, he ain't a terrible quarterback in the grand scheme of things.
Is he not a terrible quarterback, or is he a superstar athlete?
Well, he's an athlete.
Yeah.
Listen, here's the deal. He's an athlete, and offensive linemen aren't getting any smaller. So what he does is special, obviously. Because I mean, look, when you're a short quarterback, you're going shotgun. You're still having trouble looking. He's really short, looking over the big line. But at shotgun, you've got enough room to look over and see the plays. You're finding the pass lanes. You're throwing in pass lanes between your linemen, so on and so forth. So the little people thing, yes, he is the king of the little people, but he is doing an okay job. I wouldn't say a great job. He only has 7 TDs and 4 picks. So now, flip side of that, D-Hops is back, right? So all that should change. And exactly. And it is changing. It is changing. He is doing better. We know that. I mean, we saw the last game. He had, 10 receptions for 109 yards or something like that?
Yeah, first game back after I think because they missed parts of last year, too, because he got hurt. So
that's a big weapon, for sure. So it helps the little people. He's like, oh, I have my secret weapon now. So he's excited. Little king of the little peoples. They're playing the Vikings. I get why Strike wants to watch this game, but I don't know, man. Watching the Vikings is always so boring for me. I don't know. And I know they have Jefferson and all that. I just something about Kirk Cousins is like watching Dak Prescott for some reason. But this game, I don't think the Vikings stop the Cardinals. I think D-Hop's back. He had a good game back, and you're waiting for that big game, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think D-Hop's going to have a few big games. I'm going to give this one to the Cardinals just because it's Kirk Cousins, and I think Kirk Cousins he won last week, right? Let's go look.
Yeah, Jekyll Hyde.
Yeah, correct. So if he won last week, this is the bad week. So we're going to go with Kirk Cousins, shits the bed. He has 5 picks right now. He had another 3 to that. And Little People's Army will win again with D-Hop's the big monster back. He's got his dragon back. So I'm going with the Cardinals on this one.
Yeah, that was a big key that was missing earlier on in the season. Having Ertz.
50-50's hurt.
That helps him. 50-50 is hurt. But I think 50-50 was part of the problem. So at least 50% of the time. It's like analytics. 50% of the time you're wrong.
The running game is better now with what's his face.
Yeah, I feel the same. So we talked about this at the beginning. If you look at the people on the Vikings and you go fantasy relevance, you go Dalvin Cook, potential first, second rounder, right? You go Justin Jefferson, potential first, second rounder. You go Thielen, second, third rounder, right? Like they have relevance across the board. Kirk Cousins is going to get his 4,500 yards. Like you know that. He's probably a late round quarterback pick. The Vikings have talent, but they never ever seem to be consistent from week to week. One week they put up 45, the next week they put up 3. Their record's good, but I think that's more a product of their division's bad. The Lions are terrible. The Packers have a down year. Like it's their division, and we've already talked about the Bears, and we don't think they have a quarterback. So you're gonna get 5-6 wins out of that alone. Are they one of the better records in the NFC? Yes. Are they the best team in the NFC? Maybe. Just because the NFC is down. So I don't know. I wouldn't. I think the Vikings are the better team. I think they will beat him because I think Murray has a little bit of the Jekyll and Hyde in him too. I think that this is. I feel this is a game the Vikings go off and they score a bunch of points. There's really no rhyme or reason to that other than I just think that they'll do it this week. But
Everyone danced.
it is going to be interesting to see the Vikings at the end of the year if they're, I don't know, 15-win team and what he can do in the playoffs, because that's really his thing. Is Cousins can't win in the big games, so maybe he sheds it this year. Maybe they go to the NFC Championship to lose to the AFC Bills.
Sorry, little people. You going with the Vikings?
Yeah, I'm going with the Vikings.
Oh my, there's one for me.
Maybe.
Nah, there's one for me.
Maybe. Raiders and the Saints.
Oh boy, 2-4 and a 2-5. So interesting. This is gonna be such a fun game. Actually, the records, it will be a good game to watch, man. The records don't really speak for the teams itself.
Better running back, Kamara or Jacobs?
Oh boy. Depends on the situation, right?
What happened there? Like the first 4 or 5 weeks, nothing. All of a sudden, now they're like, "Look at me score."
Well, look, Kamara was hurt, right? Now he's back. He's healthy. He's good. Jacobs, a contract year, I believe, correct?
Yep.
Because they didn't pick up his option, so he's playing for a contract. Kamara is playing because he's Kamara. If you had to choose one right now, I think I like Kamara better. Jacobs is a bruiser, but Kamara can give you a little bit of both, right?
Yeah.
I would choose Kamara. Now, this is really what we're talking about in this game, because it's Carr versus Dalton. I don't know. I think Carr is Carr, right? He's just as bad as his brother sometimes. They brought over he has good weapons, right? If you look at fantasy relevance, you got Adams, you got Jacobs, you got Walker. It's not a bad team at all with the Raiders. And on the Saints, obviously, you're missing a quarterback, but you got Kamara. The rookie Olave is having a great season. It's good teams, both sides. I can say it'll come down to defense, but I don't think so. I think both their defense are kind of shitty.
It's probably going to come down to who's got the ball last, right?
Correct.
Or who throws the 15th interception of the day.
Yeah. I honestly, this game, I'm going to take the Saints, bro. And the reason I'm taking the Saints, I think that they'll just do a better job of controlling their turnovers, right? It's not Winston quarterbacking, it's Dalton. So there you go. That takes away about 4 picks. On the other side, it's Carr, and Carr seems to throw picks every game. I think that team eventually is going to implode with Adams there. I don't think Adams is that bad, but you can see the frustration on him.
Mm-hmm.
And if you've seen it now, can you just imagine that locker room? So yeah,
and he's the new kid, right? So he's usually, when you're the new kid, you want to like fit in and say the right things and do the right things. But he's not used to losing. He's been in Packerland where they 10, 13 wins a season and playoffs, and these games are brutal. They're bad. And they've lost feeding him the ball. They've lost not feeding him the ball. So I can see him being like, this isn't my fault. This is you guys' fault. And then, then it all goes to hell. There's a stat around the Saints, and basically when Taysom Hill touches the ball, they score like it's 60% of the drives. And when he doesn't, they score like 10. And my question is, why isn't he touching the ball more? Is it they're scared he's going to get hurt? Like, are they saving him for something later? Like, I don't understand that. That guy,
I think it's game flow.
That guy is dynamic. And you almost have to be like, this drive, we need to give him the ball. And they've got design plays for him, both the quarterback, the wildcat kind of things and all that. But the guy is an amazing playmaker. I don't understand why they don't use him more.
Well, like I said on that, I think it's just game flow, man. I think that you're using Taysom Hill when the defense is giving you something that they're seeing, saying, "All right, this is going to work here." Maybe it just doesn't work against every team. Who knows? You're right. You would at least try it every game, right? But who knows?
Yeah, I'm not saying I'm smarter than NFL coaches, but when you see something that's as skewed as that, and you see the guy in action, he's and he's almost the guy. You're like, if you want to do the Justin Fields experiment, this is the guy, right? He's that explosive of a playmaker. But the Saints were like, no, we're going to do Winston, who does 50 picks. You're right. I saw Dalton. Dalton was turning the ball over left and right when I saw him the last game. So I'm going to go with the Raiders. I don't know why. Just because. I wouldn't trust again. I don't trust either one of these teams. It's going to be this could be a crazy game where they both don't turn the ball over at all, or they turn the ball over so many times. It's an NFL record. I don't know. But neither one of these teams is very good at protecting the ball. So I think I'm going. You're going which team again?
Saints.
Okay. Then
there's another win for me.
I wouldn't bet on this one if I had to, man. If they're like, you must bet on this game, like, yeah, I'm good. So, we got next up are going to be the Patriots and the Oh How the Mighty Have Fallen playing the Jets.
Well, Uncle Rico's team. You already know I'm going to ride the Jets train. Let's start off with that real quick, because that's where I'm headed. I'm definitely going the Jets. Now, why the Jets? Well, you already know I'm on that Jets train. Plus, this is a tough one for me, and I'll tell you why this is a tough one for me. Because Zappe is on the other side, and he's a Texas quarterback, and I've become a fan. But they all, he plays for the evil empire with Belichick. And I think the Jets are on some kind of a special run. And I told you that, right? The defense, everything, the locker room, the camaraderie. I think that, I don't think they're trying to play for the first round pick anymore. I think that the fact that Hall went down and they went out and got Robinson tells you they still want to, they want to continue winning, right? Not that that's the greatest running back you could have picked, but it fits for what they want. Mm-hmm. Patriots, man, they're a good team. And Zappe looked good till he started looking like he was, Winston out there. It's tough because the Patriots also have a good run game and so on and so forth. But I'm going to keep it going, man. I'm going to stick with the Jets. They lost their great running back. But it's the Jets for me, baby. Let's go, Jets.
We talked about that, though, right? We talked about when you get a quarterback that's new, first game, no one's got footage on you. You go a couple games in, people got tape on you. Now they're starting to see, okay, well, let's make him try to do these things. And they start, NFL defenses try to start making you and taking things away. Okay, it looks like you don't have enough arm strength to throw these, so we're going to sit on all the routes and we're going to make you throw the out, right? That's what they do. And that's why when you see some of these young quarterbacks who come in and they're a second, third rounder, there's a reason why they're the second and third on the depth chart. There's a reason they're second and third on the depth chart. It's because they're missing one of those. They don't have enough arm strength or accuracy or something like that. And then the defenses, the first game, they're surprised because they weren't studying for it. And then they start finding the weaknesses. They start exploiting it. And then each team just basically copies it and then until you can beat it. And then some quarterbacks learn to overcome that and some never do. This is the window for this guy, right? He's either going to go, oh, yeah, I can do these things and overcome, or he's going to be back on the bench and the Patriots are going to be going back to, I don't know, Mac Jones or whoever's healthy at the time. It's weird to me because the Jets have really had a bad losing culture for a long time, and they seem to have flushed it down the toilet. And it's very rare that you sign a bunch of free agents and you bring them in and they all gel. And all the Jets free agent pieces are fitting and working. And you get a cornerback that you draft and you bring in a free agent cornerback, and those two are meshing up. It's a pretty rare thing. Being a Jags fan, that one year that we went to the AFC Championship game, we brought in a lot of free agents, and it gelled like that. And it seems like they're on the same kind of run where they've got young kids that don't know any better. They don't know they're supposed to lose. New free agents that are like, I'm not going to lose. And then players that were actually decent with the Jets, maybe one or two, last year that were held over. So they've done a remarkable job. On the flip side, the Patriots, this has really been an evolution of they were winning for so long, and that roster just eroded, and now it is where it is. And I said at the beginning of the year, this is going to be a losing season for them. I still think it is. Nothing I've seen out of the Patriots Belichick can coach his way out of, right? They have who they have. It's the players that they have, and there is no Brady coming out of the tunnel. There's no Gronk coming, out of the tunnel. They don't have those kind of players anymore. I want to go for the Jets just to make them lose and stop this whole madness. So I am, but part of it is because the Patriots are not. They're just not as anywhere near as good as they have been in the past. So I think the Jets are looking at this game. It's circled. They've been the Patriots' biatch for a long time, and they want nothing else to do with that, and they want to put down the evil empire. And I think this week they will.
Wow. You're what? No. Cannot agree with me.
And with that, the Jets will lose 64-0.
Uncle Rico's gonna hate you.
I know.
Is he actually named Uncle Rico? Because that's awesome.
It's not Rico, but yeah. And
in the on paper mismatch of the week, the Steelers at the Eagles.
This one, look, man, the Eagles look good. I'll give it to them. They beat the Cowboys. They're just looking strong right now, and that's not a surprise, right? But there's something about the Eagles, man. They look good, and then they don't, right? They'll start off really strong. They look at them. A lot of seasons they start off really strong, and then they kind of fizzle. Is this the year for that again? I don't know, man. They look pretty strong. They just brought in a new free agent. They're bolstering, man. They're bolstering. They want to win the Super Bowl this year. They're for real serious about it. The one thing I just don't believe in, and I've said it before, is their running back at quarterback, right? Now, that's not going to affect this game. They're going to win this game hands down. Let's get that out of the way. It is the Steelers on the other side. But I don't believe Hurts is their Super Bowl quarterback, right? I just don't. He's not doing he's doing horrible, right? But you said it earlier. A lot of his passes aren't these deep-ass bombs down the field, right? He's dropping them underneath. He's doing the under routes. He's checking down. He's dumping it off. There's a lot of that because that's what's open, right? Because your linebackers are saying, all right, well, we got to cover him from running, or we got to cover the overpass, the something deep. So everything in the middle, behind the linebackers, down check downs, the flats, all that is wide open for him to just dump it off, and that's what he's getting his yardage from. But you try covering that with your linebackers, now he's burying you with his feet, right? I still think he's a running back playing quarterback. He's way better than Fields, obviously. He ain't no Patrick Mahomes. The other flip side of that is the defense, man. Oof. That defense is for real, too, on the Philly side. They're a pretty good squad. Not as good as my Cowboys, but they're a pretty good squad, in my opinion. I don't think the Steelers have anything to contest that, right? It's not going to be Trubisky or the other rook. Their running game has been just bad with Harris for some reason. I don't even know if Harris stays the starter there. To be honest, he's just not looking great. The only really bright spot over there is Pickens as a receiver, and even he's not doing great. So I don't think there's anything on the Steelers side that says, "Oh man, they've got a chance." I think Philly beats the turd out of them and goes 7-0. Fly Eagles fly, I guess. And I hate saying that because I hate the Eagles.
Wow, that feels weird coming from you.
Yeah, well.
So your point about Hurts and it's really dictated by the Eagles have done a great job at staying on schedule. Like in the Jags game, they went down 14-0. They did not. The coaching staff. Most teams start getting a little antsy and they do something weird, right? Nope. They're like, we're still running the ball. We're still doing everything the same. Next thing you know, it was a tie ball game. Like they did not panic one iota. This team, again, a prototype NFC team. They know who they are. They know their quarterback isn't Mahomes, and they're fine with that because a quarterback can run off like a tank and bust your linebacker in the chops. They know that they're going to run the ball. They know they're going to play defense, and they're going to get those little 10, 15-yard patterns, and that's all it takes to get a first down. And then when they get in the red zone, Hurts is a dangerous weapon out there. And they don't have a fear of their defense will keep them in games. This is a well-rounded team. The way these teams lose is they get basically a team like the Chiefs or the Bills that puts up 28 points in the first quarter and go come back now. All right, that's how a team like this loses, and in the future in the playoffs or something like that. So far they've handled with every team they've had, and they've just basically played their style of offense. They know their identity, and they're doing a great job of executing it. The Steelers, on the flip side, Tomlin's doing a hell of a job keeping them in games, but they're just punchless on offense. And I guess it's to be expected. You lose a guy like Roethlisberger, who was a shell last year anyhow, and then you bring in Trubisky, who obviously is not the answer, and you got a rookie trying to play quarterback in the NFL. That's just not a good thing against this Eagles. I mean, I think last week they scored 10. The Eagles, they probably won't get 10. I would be highly surprised if the Steelers are even competitive in this. I expect the Eagles to blow them out.
Agreed. Again.
Unfortunately. This feels like the kind of thing the Steelers would in the past have taken out, but it's too even the coach. I think Tomlin's a great coach. I think the talent level is just too bad. If you play these games 100 times, the Eagles are going to win 90 of them. So it is what it is.
Joss.
You got the Titans and the Texans, and the Titans have now managed to go to 4-2. And once again are in the driver's seat.
Well, yeah, to lose in the first round, so it is what it is there. Let's be real here first. The Titans were playing the Colts last week, so and even with that, it wasn't a great game on their part. I mean, the second half, they have 2 field goals.
Yeah.
So they didn't look really, really great. I know D. Henry did his thing, right? 128 yards with no touchdowns, unfortunately, but he did do great. He carried the ball 30 times in that game. I mean, that in itself in any game is a lot for a running back. Like 30 runs, man. Oof. He still averaged 4.3 a yard, right? So that's not bad at all. But it really was all Derrick Henry, right? Because there was no touchdowns thrown by Tannehill. I'm looking at the stats. I don't even know how he scored a touchdown. Picks? I don't know. The game is boring as hell if you look at it.
Mm-hmm.
Colts scored a touchdown. Anyways, long story short, they were playing the Colts, which isn't great. You can't really say, "Oh yeah, I'm great." It's like saying, "Yeah, I went down the street and beat up on the 6-year-old down the street." Well, that's awesome. You kicked his butt. Yeah, well, I'm 32, right? So, yeah.
But yeah, I won that fight.
Yeah, so yeah, you got to temper your whatever on this one because they were playing the Colts, and your Super Bowl Colts aren't looking great. It was nice to see Henry do well, and I hope he continues that trend.
Only because you have him in fantasy.
Of course, baby. What's up? You're gonna hear it, and you're gonna think I'm crazy, but I'm taking the Houston Texans here. Why, you may ask? Well, let me tell you. Where you have Derrick Henry on one side, have a little-known running back. Well, I guess everybody knows him now, right? But I was big on him in the draft. Let me say that again. It's Pierce. That kid can run, man, and he's doing really good right now. And I think that may be the big difference here. David Mills, honestly, I think against the Titans, he might just have a bigger game. He's not a great quarterback. He's just not also a bad quarterback. He's just kind of like that. Hey, it's late night at the bar, and there's, I'm not going to hit the 9, but I'll settle for the 6, right? So that's what he is. He's a 6.
There's a soft 5 hanging out there.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Easy 5, lights out. She's a 9. So that's pretty much what the difference will be. It's going to be the running game for one. And battle of the less beep 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 quarterback, I guess. Right? Tannehill is. I don't even know how you explain Tannehill, to be honest. I just don't see him as an anything quarterback. He's a game manager. He doesn't have anyone to throw to, but he went 13 for 20 with 132 yards in that game against the Colts, bro. What does that tell you, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to go with the Houston Texans with, I guess you can call the upset, man. I think the Colts really are that bad, and I think they'll continue the downtrend. So we're going with the Houston Texans. Battle of the teams with ties, right? They both have a tie? Or is that just...
Yeah, the Colts have the tie.
Anyways, Texans, yeah, but it's not the Texans. My bad. But anyways, Texans win this one.
I
1-4-1. They will go 2-4-1.
I actually don't think you're far off. I'm gonna go ahead and pick the Titans, even because more I want them to lose for sure. So I'm gonna go ahead and pick the Titans, so that will push them over. I expect you're gonna be right on this one. So Tannehill to me is an older version of Bills, which is I don't dislike either one of them, and if they don't have good weapons, like these are pocket passers that don't have folks that are getting separation. Like they don't have any weapons on the offensive side of the ball as far as wide receivers and tight ends. And quite frankly, those running backs aren't ones that get open in the flats. They're the pounding kind of running backs that you use. So it's not. I don't think it's really fair to say these quarterbacks are, especially Mills. He's doing good at his stage in his career, right? Tannehill's probably at the end of his. They're not going to probably right the ship and have an offensive juggernaut in his tenure. I think his prime was probably 3 or 4 years ago when they were, getting to the playoffs, and it's over now. But I do think again the Texans were stripped down. They traded away Hopkins for Johnson, who basically I guess just imploded. There's a lot of questionable moves that O'Brien made and stripped down a really good team. They're actually if you look at this roster, there's no one on here you'd be like, I want him. So it's amazing they're being as competitive and feisty as they are. But at the end of the day, I think the Texans are not as good as the Titans, and I think the Titans are going to win. But I hope they lose.
You're gonna see the Houston Texans upset the Texans,
and that would not make me upset in one small bit.
And I should have chosen for against.
It's too late. It is too late. The pick is in.
Let's go.
Okay, so our next one's going to be the Washington, formerly known as a football team, against the AFC champion, Indianapolis Colts.
We're calling them the Washington Dan Snyders, by the way. That is the current popular term in DC.
Jesus.
Which is all the reason not to say it that way.
Matty Ryan's on ice. Ow, that was fitting, pun intended, I guess. Matty Ice. Matty Ryan's on ice, which is unfortunate for the Colts. I think he's probably a better quarterback. Well, no, man, look, let me tell you. Heider, whatever his name is from Texas, is a pretty good quarterback at Texas, man. And this is his opportunity to shine in a bad situation, I guess, having to take over for a quarterback like Matt Ryan, who's unceremoniously told to sit for the rest of the year. Honestly, they should have at least put him on IR or something, man, and let him fade off into the distance. But that's a bad way to do it. I can't even say they Bledsoe'd him, right? Because Bledsoe at least had an injury when they sat him down twice. So poor going for Matt Ryan. But anyways, I can't even say his damn name. Whatever the new quarterback is, the Colts. Will it be enough to beat the Commanders? Man, honestly, I think so. Look, the run game ain't doing that great. And I know there's other problems with the Colts, but sometimes you need that little spark, that rally spark, right? It happens in football all the time, bro. Look at Zappy in New England, right? Like no-name quarterback came out of nowhere, but it added that spark. And the spark lasted. It's like a sparkler, man. It's lit for a little while and then it fizzles the hell out. Yeah, exactly. So I think that might happen here. I think that Ellingheimer, whatever his damn name is, I can never say his name.
Just say Sam.
Sam comes in. He hits that spark. Maybe it sparkles for a game or two and helps the Colts rally. They look good, and then everyone's gonna say, "Oh, great, great, great." That's why we put Matty Ice out to pasture. But on the other side of that, the Commanders, neither one of their running backs is doing really great. They brought in Robinson to sit down Gibson, and he didn't really look great. Wentz is Wentz. We know that. So the picks will keep going up. They have a couple good receivers, but again, Wentz is Wentz. I think the sparkle that Sam brings in is going to be enough to push the team up and excite them, and they're going to play a little bit better and rally behind them because you have to. And the Colts win this one. The Colts for me.
Yeah, the NFC East, for all the joking, is a pretty stacked division. This is the last place team. They're 3-4. They're better than the Colts. Having seen the Colts up close and personal twice this year, the Commanders looked a lot better than the Colts. So I'm going with them. It's simple as that. I think the opposite happens. I think this team, for whatever reason, is the opposite of the Jets, where the Jets are, I think, greater than the sum of their parts. The Colts are absolutely not. The strengths on this team are weaknesses. There is no reason that Matty Ice should have been sacked as many times as he was with this offensive line. Just, it shouldn't have been that way. And I don't see any new quarterback coming in and helping it out. The Commanders are a well-run team. They're probably not as talented they're definitely not as talented as the top three teams in the NFC East, but they're, I think, more talented than the Colts are playing right now. I think, again, on paper, I thought the Colts had the best offensive line in the league. I thought they had the greatest running back in the league. I thought Ryan, 4,500 yards, that's a dangerous team. I am, as a Jags fan, very happy none of that happened. But for whatever reason, they're playing at their lowest potential. I see it continuing. So I'm going with the Commanders.
The Commanders. That's good for you, but what did I say?
You said the Colts.
The Colts, yeah. Spark. Sammy the Spark. Yep.
Sam E.
Write that shit down.
The 49ers versus the Rams.
Oh boy. C-Mac. I guess we're waiting for C-Mac to have that explosion game, right? I think this is it. C-Mac is.
We're waiting for C-Mac to touch the ball, aren't we? He didn't even play last game.
Did not play last week. You're right, but I think this is the week he plays. Right by now, he should be acclimated with the playbook and do something. And what a game to do it in, right? They're playing the Rams. The Rams don't suck completely, but the Rams don't know how to, my opinion, don't know how to play defense. But then again, they're not that bad at defense. They just, who have they played that showed you their defense sucks? The Cowboys, obviously. They have Stafford at quarterback, who hasn't looked great, even though his completion rate is pretty good, man. 71.1. That's pretty great. But
well, that's because Cooper Kupp is catching, all the balls.
Yeah, but he has 6 touchdowns and 8 picks. That's not a good thing. They don't have a running game. All they really have is Stafford throwing a cup, and that's not going to be enough. And on the flip side of that, 49ers have fucking, Garoppolo. There's only 2 F-bombs today, so
that's good.
They have Garoppolo, and Garoppolo is definitely not the greatest, right? Although I think he's a little underrated, and people talk a lot of trash on him, but sometimes he shows up in games. I think if C-Mac comes out, they've got Debo and Ayuk who are really starting to. Ayuk is starting to come alive again, and that's always a good thing for the 49ers.
And he does that. Like in the last 2 seasons, he like disappears, and Samuels gets all the balls, and then he pops up and he becomes a threat, and then they're like, oh yeah, we have this good number 2 receiver too. We should throw to him. Like it seems like it happens every year for the last couple of years.
I think the odd man out here and the most unfortunate one is Wilson, right? They brought in C-Mac. What does that tell you? They didn't have any faith in Wilson. That's a little sad, but it is what it is. And then who was the guy that got hurt, Striker? The other
Elijah, whatever.
He's supposedly almost back or something like that.
Yeah.
He's getting healthy. And you still have C-Mac. So I think C-Mac has a big game. This is his come out game for he's coming out in San Francisco. Ain't that fitting? This is his coming out game. And he does great against the Rams, and I just lose part of your base there.
And Morty just went from 5 viewers to 1.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Well,
So you're going with the 49ers?
Pun not intended. Yeah, I'm going with the 49ers.
So
the 49ers to pack the Packers.
Did you guys see? Did you guys see the 49ers game?
Highlights.
This past week.
Yeah. So Juszczyk was on one play, and he basically came off the field with his finger pointed the wrong way. And I've seen that before. So hopefully he is healing up nicely. But yeah, his finger was pointing in the opposite direction, and the camera crew spent a lot of time showing us that finger. It was like, oh, please stop. The Niners and they're Miami West, right? They're totally loaded everywhere except the quarterback. So, he still got him to the Super Bowl. Like, you got to give him a little bit of a, I guess, grace period. But this team has got a great defense. Fantasy relevance is off the chart. If you look at the flip side, what do you have? You've got Stafford, who looks like Father Time has caught up to him.
Another one that should retire. We forgot about him.
Yeah, Donald that is just now. Now there's no one else next to Donald that scares anybody, so they're just quadruple teaming Donald. It's and Cup, and quite frankly, you can see Stafford is forcing the ball to Cup. And it worked in the Super Bowl drive, and I guess he's in like, well, I'm going to do this from now on, and it's just it's not functional, right? You can't every third down you can't throw to one guy, or defenses eventually are going to be like, wait a minute, which is just odd.
Crap,
Yeah,
Cup has 72 targets on the season already.
His usage rate is insane, and Stafford is quite frankly. You know how they tell rookie quarterbacks to look another way? Like Stafford is looking his way exclusively. Like my son actually made a joke. He says, if your name doesn't start with Cooper and end with Cup, you're not getting the ball this game. And it's pretty close because the tight end catches a few passes too. But that's it. So the Niners on paper are way better. And unless Stafford's arm miraculously gets a lot better, which I don't think those kind of stay with you the whole season, I don't see it happening, and I don't see this 49ers defense letting Cup run them over. So I think the 49ers.
Cooper Kupp is third overall in the NFL in targets right now. Tyreek Hill is first, Jamar Chase is second, and Kupp is third.
I mean, he's a brutally awesome athlete. Like the catches he makes, he is always getting hit. He has always got multiple guys on him. Like he's not catching anything that's not contested. He's making great catches. But it's just you can tell it's being forced to him. So yeah, 49ers. Although we'll say that, and then Garoppolo will throw 5 picks and be benched for whoever is in seat 29, aisle 5. The G-men play the Genos.
G-men play the Genos. Look, again, I told you about my little mistake last week with going with Matty Ice instead of Dan Jones. He's not a great quarterback at all. He just had a really good game and put up a lot of points.
He runs. He runs like the wind.
He does run like the wind. He's the second best running back on the New York Giants team. But he can throw the ball a little bit too. He's not great, and he doesn't throw a lot of big passes, but he's not bad either. The flip side of this is going to be, on the other side, you have Seahawks, and you got Geno, the pizza maker, who's not doing too bad at all, man. Honestly, Geno's doing a lot better than I thought he was going to be, to tell you the truth. He has 1,700 yards. His completion rating is 73%. Wow. 11 TDs.
11 TDs to 3 picks. Yeah.
That's a lot better. Honestly, I thought Geno was going to be a pick machine, to be honest. This new running back they put up there, what is he, a rookie, Walker? Strike?
Walker, yeah. Walker out of Michigan State, I believe.
Looking great. They still have Lockett and Metcalf. I mean, honestly,
I don't know if DK plays this game.
Yeah,
I'll be honest with you on that.
That's fine. You still have Lockett. He's been doing really good. The running game is still there. Geno's playing like, Russell Wilson right? On the flip side, though, you have the Giants, and the Giants are 6-1 for a reason. They're playing really good. They have Barkley, period, right? I mean, you got to go stop Barkley, and Barkley seems to have a renewed everything after last year and all that. He's back, man, and Barkley in the fourth quarter, like Wardy had hit on earlier, is just an animal. Can the defense of the Seahawks keep up with them in the fourth quarter? I guess is the big question, because if you're not stopping Thunder, you're dealing with lightning, right? Which is Jones running the ball. It's going to be a tough one. I think this is going to be a pretty good game, a fun game to watch as well. But long story short, and I think this is going to surprise everybody, or not, because I'm not a big Giants fan, but I'm going to go with Geno the pizza maker and the Seahawks in this one. I like Walker. He runs great. I know Barkley runs great on the other side, man. But you got to look at Walker's yardage right now. At 411 yards.
Walker's a home run hitter. Did you guys watch that 79-yard run last game? I mean, that thing was just that was just. I mean, he was 22 miles an hour plus going up the field, and nobody was keeping up with him.
Fly Hawks fly is what I'm going with here. I don't know what the saying is in Seattle, but that's what I'm making it.
Fly Hawks.
Yeah, it's better than let's roll or whatever. Yeah.
Mount up or whatever Wills is using in Dallas.
Yeah.
So the Giants are worse than their record. They're 6-1. They're not that good. They have won, like I think it was 5 1-score games, right? So they're not blowing people out, but their identity is also not to blow people out. They play really good defense. They let Daniel Jones dink and dunk the ball. Nothing on that offense made me, woo, they're going to score, 70 play, 70 yards down the field. Like, that was not how they did it. You were worried about Barkley breaking a 70-yard run, but that's, or Daniel Jones. But fortunately, Daniel Jones tends to trip himself somewhere on the 70-yard run. So, in either case, this team knows who they are. And they know that if they get you to the fourth quarter, they're going to turn the keys over and they're going to run you over. And that, quite frankly, I don't see the Seahawks putting up enough points to make it where the Giants are uncomfortable in the fourth quarter. If for whatever reason, especially with Metcalf out, like if Metcalf was in, maybe. But if you're in the fourth quarter and you're not up by 10 plus, they're going to turn over the keys. Barkley's going to run you over, and he will get 5-6 yards a carry, completely exhaust your defense, and then they will score the touchdown with no time left. That's what they do. That's what I'm going to go with. Sorry, Striker.
Well, you're good, man.
I went with you, Strike. Or you can go eat a carrot. I went with you, buddy.
Eat a carrot. I like that. I'm going to go eat a bag of carrots, Wardy.
Go eat a bag of carrots. Bag of cats.
Big fat carrots.
I mean, you're 100% right, Wardy. The big concern is, can they stop Saquon? Can they have run defense? I don't think Jones beats them through the air. I think it's, do they wear the Seahawks defense out?
Well, and
that's what it's going to come down.
And quite frankly, this is one of those games you need to get some turnovers and get lucky, and then make it where the fourth quarter they can't use their best weapon, right? If they can't use Barkley and Daniel Jones can't use his legs and he has to throw to beat you because you're down by 3 touchdowns, hey, you get that. And again, I think if you had Metcalf is your guy. Lockett's good, but now he becomes the number one, and he's not as good at the number one as the number 2. So I think it was a bad time for you to lose him. But you are doing much better on the year at 4-3 than I would have assumed. And I think even you assumed early on. So,
I mean, we're playing with house money right now. This was not supposed to be a year where they competed.
Yeah.
So as far as I'm concerned, I mean, you got 2 offensive tackles.
Oh, they're first in the West, right?
Yeah. I mean, right now they're hosting a home game in the NFC. No, but I mean, they've got the future offensive line on the tackles set up. They've got a running back because Penny's not coming back. I mean, they're not in a terrible situation moving forward. So,
Yep.
I'll take. I mean, literally right now they are hosting a home game in the first round of the playoffs if the season were to end with the records.
We're counting our chickens a little too soon there, buddy.
Oh, I know we are.
All right. And good luck on. Hopefully, I'm wrong. The next game is the. My son said this. He's like, "Well, what are you guys, 2-5?" I was like, "It's okay. We're 3-4, and we're going to be 3-5 next week." So the Packers are playing the Bills.
Well,
at Buffalo, the frozen tundra of Buffalo.
Look, it all depends. How good? You know how I get gummy deliveries every now and then? Let's see what kind of delivery. If Aaron Rodgers gets like that good snow, he might be all right. That guy looks like he's hits an 8-ball before every game, but man, he looked not very good. And I know you said that There's a lot of things broken in Green Bay. I don't disagree with that. However, I think that Aaron Rodgers, and I told you already, there's a few quarterbacks already that are just they're playing past, not even past their prime. They're just playing past how long it should be there. Now, Aaron Rodgers' stats don't say the same, right? You're looking at 66 percentage. You're looking at almost 1,600 yards, 11 touchdowns, 3 picks. And we talked about something last week though. We talked about the run game and why they're not using it more. Now, is Aaron Rodgers a bad quarterback right now? Probably not. You're right. He probably hasn't lost a step like say Tom Brady, and some of the other guys. Is there a lot of weapons around him? No, he's struggling with the receiving core. We knew that.
Mm-hmm.
My question is though, you're still Aaron Rodgers, right? If they can run a route, you should be able to hit them. They're professional receivers for a reason. It's not like they have these guys. Hey, you know what? Let's just go down the street and pick up the Arena League receivers, right? They're not Arena League receivers, obviously. My question is, why are they getting away from the run game so much? You got Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon. They got 2 touchdowns between them. Like, come on, man. What is going on in Green Bay that they're just not using the run game anymore? Why have they gone away from the run game is my big question. Is it, again, we're touching back to, is it Aaron Rodgers saying, no, 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 I want to throw the ball, I want to throw the ball, something like that? Or is it play calling is done by Aaron Rodgers, and if he's just a little too high, he's calling what he wants to call? Who knows? But something, you're right, something is really, really, really broken in Green Bay. This is not the game where they find out what's broken and how to fix it. That's for damn sure.
This is a game you find how broken things actually are.
This is the game that has Aaron Rodgers going home going, wow, I think I need a career change. That broadcast booth is looking a lot better. This isn't going to be
over under on Buffalo putting up 40+ points.
Ouch. I mean, under.
It's got to be the over, right?
No, I'd say under.
Only because they'll get tired of toying with people. Like, the Bills' defense is so good, they don't have to put 40 up.
I think that the defense for the Green Bay isn't great, but I don't think you're going to put up 40 on us defense, in my opinion. Obviously, we're going with the Bills here. There's not a lot more to say on the Green Bay side. There's trouble there. There's problems there. Is it Aaron Rodgers? Is it the receiving core? Is it the run game? Who knows, man? It's hard to tell right now, but Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers that they have right now are not the team to beat the Buffalo Bills. Now, again, the Buffalo Bills one loss surprised all of us, right? But I think they've righted whatever problems they had for that one. Not a lot you can say about the Bills other than, Allen, Diggs. Need I say more? Pretty much, right?
Number one defense in the NFL, yeah.
Defense. So, yeah, the Bills. I'm not even going to get too detailed because this is an easy one. The Bills. So even if I flip the coin, both sides would say the Bills.
The Bills. Heads, the Bills. Tails, the Bills. This is the game that the Bills choke on, right? like if you look at it, the Packers are 3-4, right? Aaron Rodgers comes up and he's like, relax, everybody relax, and he pulls it out. I do think that there's. I think if you were I don't know. I don't know who's pulling the trigger, but whoever's calling plays. I know that in one of the games they lost, they threw 3rd and 4th down, and like the 5-yard line, they threw 2 batted passes. That doesn't seem like the smartest move when you've got probably 2 of your best players are running backs, and I don't know why they're getting away from it as much as they are. And what I've seen is in the first half they're averaging some nice yard per carry over 5, and they're just like, nah, we don't need to do that anymore. And we've talked about this. We come from the school of you do it till the other guy stops you, and some people are like me that you do it one more time just to make sure. So I don't get why the Packers doing it. I get to get a generational quarterback. But you just don't have the weapons on offense for that generational quarterback to shine. And yes, everyone's in NFL is a professional, but it's all route. In receivers, it's not so much the routes, it's the separation that your routes get. And that's where the really good route runners and the really fast and explosive wide receivers give you that extra separation. And in the NFL, there's generally no open passing. When you're throwing to the receiver, unlike college where you get wide open guys. unless there's a breakdown in coverage, generally there's not someone wide open. But the windows definitely, when you can't get separation, get smaller and smaller to the point of you're throwing with a defensive back on the wide receiver. That's where the Packers are. But this really feels to me like this is the kind of game that Aaron Rodgers goes, you know what? We can't be 3-5. Our season's done if we're 3-5. And no one expects me to win this game. Let me hold my beer. Right? This is why he is who he is and not Kirk Cousins is who he is. That Kirk Cousins would come into this game and he would definitely lose to the Bills. So I'm picking the Packers. They should not win this game. This is a little bit like the Chiefs pick. The Bills passed that test, although it wasn't as far apart as it should have been. I think the Packers come in and they steal one. Upset alert.
Okay then. I think you and Aaron Rodgers are sharing the same.
Yes, we were both making sure that our chakras are aligned, and he told me that his was good for this game.
Your shockers or
chakra?
Chakras?
Chakra.
All right. Yeah. Okay.
Well, if you're picking Aaron Rodgers, it's a shockers.
Most definitely. I'm gonna leave it be.
Bengals at the Browns. I think that would normally get that's a stupid effing pick thing, but since we can't say that anymore, I've escaped.
Oh boy, you're tempting me, aren't you? You better get that beeper ready, boy. We're gonna take the clean version. That's a stupid pick.
That's a stupid carrot pick, is what that is.
Yeah, well, that's a stupid fornication pick.
Monday Night Football. We got the Bengals at the Browns.
Oh boy. Well, let's start off with Jacoby Brissett. I don't believe Jacoby Brissett is a very good quarterback anymore. I never did, but 6 touchdowns, 5 picks, too close for me. He's got some good yardage, but Cooper's emerged a little bit. I think Njoku is hurt, right?
Yeah, he's hurt.
Chubb is a great running back. Hunt is mad and wants out, which I would watch where he goes as far as trading because I think it would be pretty good. I think wherever he lands is going to be somewhere great for him anyways. Where he lands, I don't know. There's a few teams that I'm surprised that the Jets didn't make a move for him, right? I mean, that would have been a good catch, a good little mix there too. Browns aren't looking great this season, right? I mean, they're 2-5. I don't think they're playing. Well, maybe they're playing for a draft pick now, right? So they can get a better quarterback than Brissett boy.
Well, they got a better quarterback on the roster, right?
Yeah, they're paying Deshaun.
Yeah, come on now, man. Deshaun likes to be touched in inappropriate places. Do you really think that addiction is going to go bye-bye? Nope. He's going to take his money run and get his sphincter played with for the rest of his life, bro. I think he'll play in the NFL again. It's just a matter of time before he does something stupid again. Come on, bro. That shows a pattern of stupid, right? How many women was it that complained?
Well, there was, I think, 24 civil suits against him, and then 30 that sued the Texans.
Wow.
And I don't know how many.
We're up to 26 or 27 on civil
suits. Well,
suits now.
there's a couple more that popped up, and commissioner said no, he's still on track for just a 10-game suspension, even with the new cases that are popping up. But you're right. There's definitely a pattern of behavior.
Well, Deshaun's telling her, hey, victim number 1, I'm giving you 2% of my contract. His contract's gone. He gave away all the percentage away. He's only got about 15% left.
He's playing for free, right?
Well, he's looking at a couple more masseuse. But anyways, the Browns look really bad right now, and the Bengals are really starting to heat up. Joe Burrow looked, 400 and something yards this last week? I mean, holy smokes, the guy's on fire. But we knew that's what he was, right? Like, slow start to the Bengals, but now look at him. And I think that's going to continue moving forward. He already has over 2,000 yards. Obviously, he got a big chunk of it this last game. But 15 TDs, 5 picks, Chase, Boyd, Higgins. I mean, it goes on and on and on, right? Mixon. This team is a good team. I think the one thing they need a lot of help at, in my opinion, and more help at anyways, is defense. And I think they were addressing that if I read somewhere correctly. But I do believe that the Bengals win this game. Obviously, I think this is a hands-down one. The Battle of Ohio, right? If Biggie was here, he would tell you that the Browns are the best team in the world, but he'd be, get a stupid effing pick. We're going to go with the Bengals on this one. It's not a hard one for a Monday night game. Is it going to be a good game to watch? Yes, because this is a rivalry game. It's an interstate game. It's a game you want to pick up and watch. But I think it's going to be the Burrow show. He's on fire, bro. He's on fire. He's hitting his receivers. Everything's looking great for them, and I think that they're going to embarrass the Cleveland Browns.
So this is a rivalry game, and the other thing that the Bengals have a problem with is their offensive line. It's gotten better. It's still not good. And the one thing I think the Browns can still do is rush the passer pretty well. So I expect Burrow's not going to look as good. On the flip side, even with Chubbs and Hunt running for their 200 yards, I don't think the Browns are going to score enough. But I'm tempted. This is a rivalry game. They're at home. I think the Browns are going to win.
Do you know what a 50-50 ball is?
It's a coin.
50-50 balls when the quarterback gets the ball, he just throws that go around, lays it up, and expects your running back to get your receiver to get under it. That's all Burrows is doing now. I mean, he's getting rid of the ball a lot faster. He's got receivers that he can 50-50 ball all day long. I mean, the Browns aren't a bad defense, don't get me wrong, but I think you're wrong on your pick. So I'm going to state that. The Bengals.
Oh, of course you do. The Browns. All right, boys. Another week is in the books.
Yeah. Wow, a lot earlier. Well, we started earlier, but yeah.
Yeah, we started earlier.
We also didn't have as much swearing, which means Ripper didn't talk as much.
Well, I kept the Cowboys down to a minimum, so there's that. Usually it's about everyone else 70%, and then I go